Welcome to R.S.V.P. Listen to the show at your own risk. We will be discussing all taboo subjects like religion, sex, violence, and even politics. You should be ready for controversy, disagreements, face-offs, and maybe some downright rumbles. Well, sit tight and get ready for this week's episode. And by the way, if you're squeamish about obscenities, don't listen to our fucking show!
Hi, everybody. Hey, Bernie.
Morning, my love. How are you?
Awesome. How are you doing there?
Fantastic. I might have to have a little sip of my mimosa. I feel I've got a frog in my throat.
Well, get rid of the frog. We don't want no princes here today.
No
princes
frogs
on our show.
No frogs.
Today.
No frogs. No princes. no men thinking that they got us over us chicks. Oh my God, I can't even speak properly. I need some more.
My Lord, you better have another sip. Well, everyone, I'm Diane Daniels, and I'm talking to you live from just outside of Tampa, Florida, here in the good old USA in May, the mid-May, springtime here. And I'm talking to my beautiful, sexy co-host, Bernadette Desmond, out over in Australia down under, and it is fall, right?
Yes,
autumn?
love. We call it autumn
right?
over here, but we call it autumn. You call it fall. But yes, same. But
translator, please. So what's going on over there, Bernie?
well, very exciting news that we can actually all go out to a cafe, a restaurant, or a pub as of I think midnight last night, but only 10 of us at a time.
At a pub.
At a pub, yeah, you know a pub?
No, I know what a pub is. No, that's all right. We don't need a translator for that. But I'm surprised that you could go to a bar, a pub, area.
Only if they've got restaurant facilities though. So like none of the bar side of it is open. So if you want to go there for a meal and have some drinks served to you, you can do it, but only 10 of you at a time.
All right, I was getting nervous. I thought I was going to have to get on a Qantas and come over and see you right away. Because we can't do that.
Come over.
No, I know. I want to come very badly.
It might cost you $500 large to get over here for your ticket, but hey, it'll be worth it.
It'll be an empty plane. Right? Empty.
I know.
Well, today we got a hell of a show, woman.
I know. I've been excited about this. This is kind of like take two because we had a few technical glitches last week. So we're still in our gender roles and our gender bias. And I think, oh my God, this is such a hot topic. And if you talk to anybody that you know, there's such opposing views about it.
It's crazy. You never know what someone's going to say. 1 minute they're for it, 1 minute they're against it, and somebody don't want to answer because they're uncomfortable and all queasy about it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I love it though.
I love it too.
Nothing like stirring the pot, I reckon.
Let's start a damn pot.
And we've got a brave man.
You got some funny stuff. Let's start off with some funny stuff.
We have. Well, okay, so I was looking for so funny memes about gender roles and gender bias. And I found this whole cache of stuff that's got like these ads from the 1950s. And everyone's got this romantic view of the 1950s, like, rock and roll and Fonzie and, Happy Days and all of that kind of stuff. And, women were so happy and men were so happy and they went off to work. And anyway, I found this ad. And oh my God, it is just so hilarious. Have you got that, John, that you can whack that up? And honestly, I couldn't actually literally believe that this was an ad that got rolled out in newspapers and advertising and stuff like that. But it talks about your mimsy, love.
Your what?
Your mimsy.
My mimsy? What is that, my ass? My ass?
I love it, your vagina.
Oh, is that what Aussies call it? A whimsy? How magical. magical.
We do not call it. No, we do not call it that. But this is what it was called back in the 1950s when this ad was up.
Is this an Australian ad or a US ad?
I don't know. There it is there. Look, see? Women, you need to keep your mimsy clean, alrighty?
Lord.
And the whole ad is that, you know, it's for Lux soap. So you need to use Lux soap to keep your mimsy clean. Because if you don't keep your mimsy clean, then you know what? Your man, your hubby, is just not going to love you, or he's just not going to come near you at all.
Oh, my God.
Alrighty? And honestly, if you ever get a chance to have a look at the wording in that close up, it will blow your mind about what they actually
crazy.
Not only is it crazy, but
they literally use that.
How friggin' it's funny, but how sexist is that? So you know nothing about like you using your Lux. See, look at that, a daily wash.
Oh my God, a daily wash.
Kebab soap. I don't even know what kebab means.
I don't
for
either.
Women. So this Lux, it's only for women. Will freshen up your flaps.
Oh my God! And stop it stinking like an old Kipper. Oh my God, that is insane. That's insane.
And then it's got ask your doctor today, who of course would have been a male, right?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my God. It's just insane. I just couldn't believe it. Like, so I'm laughing hysterically, but I'm also cringing on the inside because the messaging is just so derogatory and so wrong and so sexist.
It is. I don't see nothing on there for keeping the balls stop from being sweaty balls.
No. And notice that it's only for women.
Exactly.
Right? So the Lux for women. Yeah. So men obviously they didn't have to do anything with their wieners.
Nothing.
It was the woman's full responsibility because she was the one that was in charge of making sure that your mimsy is kept clean. So you take note of that and make sure that you next time you have a shower that you focus on your mimsy.
Listen, I'm going to say that the next time I'm talking to somebody and I don't know, however the hell vagina comes up, I'm saying whimsy. I'm going to see if anybody knows what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just going to see if they know. Oh, my God. I'm going to find out who the hell makes that soap. Do they make it still, you think?
Lux soap. Yeah, Lux soap is still around.
Oh, wait till I write to that company. That's it. I'll write to the company, and when they write back, we'll put it on the show.
Yeah, do that. Oh, it makes me cry. Cry with laughter.
Funny. All
cry
right.
with laughter, but cry like going, oh my God, what the actual fuck? Seriously?
That's crazy.
I know. And that was just one of them. Honestly, there were so many of them that I could have chosen. And the messaging is just absolutely, from my perspective as a woman, horrific. Just horrific.
Thank God we weren't born that time. Right?
No. Yes.
We would have never made it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, what have you got, Di? Right. What's funny one have you got?
You want me to go do one first?
Yeah, I think so. I think John might be having trouble with the video.
All right. How about I got an ad from, Bic pens? Bic? You know what Bic pens are?
Yeah, we have Bic pens over here.
All right. So we're going to take a look at a pen ad, Bic ad. All right. Make sure you look like a girl and you better act like a lady. Think like a man and work like a boss. That is sexist.
Yeah. Not only that no pressure, right? So you got to look like a girl, act like a lady, think like a man, and work like a boss.
Exactly. Open up your shirt a little.
All of those things.
That's right. You tell her look down her shirt a little, give a little cleavage, but think like a man and be a boss.
What does that even mean? Like think like a man and work like a boss?
Well, that's the only way you could be a true
successful.
Successful. Exactly. You can only be successful if you think like a man and work like a boss. Not being a woman. You just look good.
But also but you got to make sure that while you're doing it, that you stereotypical, like you got to look really pretty, and then you've got to act like a lady. I mean, what does acting like a lady mean?
Well, that means sit there and
Not
shut
swearing like we do.
No. No, you better just sit there and look pretty and let me look at you. And then when I don't want to look at you, shut up. That's what it means.
I know, but like too, like on a serious note, like even you and I that are doing like this show here, okay? So like
Right.
we're just being ourselves and we're rocking up how we are. Like we're not on a stage, we're not pretending to be somebody that we're not. We're not trying to break glass ceilings and not having to like, wear balls in order to do that. And also too, like, the whole acting like a lady. So, you're not really supposed to swear because ladies don't swear, right?
Right.
So even us just being how we are normally, we will get vilified out there in, the world because, oh my God, those two girls are so crass. They're this and they're that because they actually swear.
Yeah, exactly. We're not ladies.
So,
we're not ladylike.
No.
We're trash. We must be hookers.
We're certainly not seen to be acting like ladies.
Exactly. All right, I got one more before we get into our guest. And this one is a little reverse psychology, okay? This one's a little reverse psychology from the men's point of view.
Yep.
Hit me with it. You want gender equality? Take it. I don't have to hold the door. I don't have to hold the bags. And I don't have to give you my damn seat. There you go. How do you feel like about that?
I agree with that. Like, I mean, I think that's completely, I think that's completely fair. I mean, I don't think that as women and society, we can then say, okay, well, you've got to do all of this, like, because back in the 50s, right, they did that sort of stuff. Okay, but they only did it for you if you kept your mimsy clean.
Well, we already know that that's a given.
That's right. So do you know what I mean? Like, so, but I feel that like if a guy wants to do that for a woman, then it's gracious of a woman to accept that too, because there are a lot of women who find that insulting when a guy opens up a door or gives them their seat, or you're on the train or the tram or whatever it is, and they get up and let a female sit down, etc. So we do have this kind of like almost mixed up kind of like fucked up view of what gender equality is, and I don't think you can have gains without having any pains and sacrifices.
No, and when I used to ride the buses and the trains a lot in New York, I would get up and give my seat, whether it was a man or woman. I didn't care. If they were a pregnant woman or they were an elderly man or woman or someone that was handicapped, I always gave them their seat. I don't care what gender they are. But that doesn't work now. They don't get up for anybody. They don't even get up.
I know. And I guess like, I don't know whether we can actually call that a loss through gender equality or gender bias. I don't know. I think that that's just a general loss in people looking out and taking care of people maybe who are, less advantaged than what you are. So it could be age or it, like you said, somebody who's pregnant or someone who's got an injury or something like that. So I don't know. I think like, in general, we kind of lost our own common decency somewhere along the line. But is that mixed up in this whole gender role kind of bias mess that we've got going on?
I do. I think so. I do.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I do too.
Let's talk all about it a little more. We have a great guest with us today. We have Patrick Hyland from the Sports Zone. Okay, he's a radio host on the AM 860 The Answer. So let's welcome to the show Patrick Hyland. Hey Patrick, how you doing?
Hey Patrick.
Hey Patrick, how are ya? Oh, you better like it, buddy. Well, I believe with you. I agree with you, Patrick. But the thing is, I would like to have the guy manager be the same way. I would like a kind person who's going to be a leader and guide me to success, whether it's a man or a woman. Mm-hmm.
But what if you're just naturally an outgoing, boisterous personality? Like, I mean, like if you take Di, like she's out there, that chick, aren't you, love? You know, like
Me? What do you bring me into this for?
She's loud, she's funny, she's boisterous, she's intelligent, she's very articulate, and you know, if she believes in something, she stands there in her own truth, right? And I don't know. So is it more the way that it's communicated? So I think that, you know, being strong or what you're seen to being strong as it being like, you know, say if a woman is soft and we're saying like, you know, a guy's a boisterous in a management thing is I think that it's important for a male and a female because we've both got male and female, like left and right side of our brains, is to be a mixture of both of those things because that's really what a true leader is. When you can step forward and like be like lead from the front, like so lead from like your warrior because you've got to go in and fight or whatever it is. And women do that too. You know, they fight for stuff every single day of their lives. And then also too to step forward from your feminine space where you're being, you know, softer or the way that you're delivering something is coming across in a way that's not abrasive and not aggressive. Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Well, what happens in that case, Patrick, is if the woman is like that, she's a bitch, right? Oh, what a bitch, right? With the guy, well, what is he having a bad day and he got a hair on his ass, right? Is that right?
Or his wife hasn't kept a mimsy clean, something like that. Oh my God. Funny, but so wrong.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm.
right, right. No, that's true. And it should be that way. That's definitely, it should be both ways. Everybody should get up for someone that needs to see, no matter whether you're a man or woman. Get the hell up and let them sit down. That's how that should be. I agree.
Mm. Mm.
Well, you're talking about relationships, Patrick. Let's just get right into this. So, in a marriage, do you think that it's okay if the woman is out and she's the breadwinner, and the guy is home and he's raising the kids and take care of the house?
Mm.
Okay, but let's make believe she's not the CEO. Like you're making it like she's Gates, for God's sakes. What about if she's like, I don't know, the dog warden, and she's the dog warden of the town or city, and that's it.
I've got some research on that, actually. So this is research out of the University of Melbourne, and this is like dated the 11th of March 2020, right? So just last month. And it's saying that women are now earning more money in 1 in 4 households in Australia. It's also saying that it's challenging the traditional role of men and women in family life. It's saying that women on average, with relation to if she becomes the primary earner because their partner is unemployed, is that she becomes unsatisfied in the relationship. And it also says that it's reversed for the men. So if the wife is not working on average, it doesn't affect the men's relationship satisfaction, which is what you're talking about, male ego, right? And both men and women were generally more satisfied in the relationship if the woman became the homemaker. What the fuck? Like, we're saying that we've got more women than ever out earning more money than men, but that still, and this is saying that based on this research, that both men and women, so not just men and women, were more satisfied in the relationship if the woman became the homemaker. And it says that
what does that mean? What does that mean traditional, Patrick? What does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Well, why is it so diverse here in America as opposed to other countries in the world? I mean, we've had women leaders in other countries for thousands of years, thousands. But here in America, we barely can get them into the freaking Senate. What's that about?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so, because I think that the stereotype of what an Australian male is like is based on Crocodile Dundee and Steve Irwin and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's what you guys get fed about Australia over there. But I mean, like when Di and I started this conversation about like we were going to do this show about this, I mean, what started it is her and I had this debate because she's saying that, I think that like, all the men that I know prefer their wife to stay at home and be the homemaker and like be in the kitchen and be in the bed than out earning. And we were looking for somebody to invite on the show who actually had that point of view. And in my circle, I don't know any man in Australia that I know personally that's like that. So I think that again, it's
Patrick. So let me put it to Patrick. So Patrick, if you had the choice of either having your wife go out and work and she's the breadwinner and you're at home raising the kids and taking care of the house, or you're the breadwinner, you go out and work, your wife stays home, has the kids, raise the kids, does the cooking and cleaning, and is home for you when you need to get to her mincy. What would you rather have? There you go, Bert. That's what the men in America think.
What?
That's perfect rule, right?
Why is that perfect? Like what? Why is that? Like what is it about that? Oh my God. Oh my God. It nearly makes me, oh my.
It is. He's telling it the way it is. It is.
Oh my God. I just can't believe that, because you know when we talk about equality, right? Like part of that research thing I was reading out before is that the women that are out in the workforce, like whether you're a high exec or you're just out in, the workforce, still being a hairdresser and that sort of stuff, or working in cafes, is that even when women are working more or equal amounts and earning more or equal amounts of money than men, they're coming home and doing 40 minutes a day more housework and stuff. So the women's workload is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I mean, from my perspective, when I hear, like you say that, like, oh, I come home and my house is like, clean and my kids are snotty noses are done and like, the shitty nappies are done and like, then I've got to do dinner and then, get dressed in negligee and then supposedly be like the sex goddess or whatever it is. Oh my God, like seriously. I always say to Sean, my husband, like, a domestic goddess I am not. So seriously, like when 24 years ago when we got together, like I was never going to be in that role, like ever. And I don't know where that came from, but I just was never going to be in it because it almost makes me want to spew. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think even yeah, but no, yeah, but I think also too though, I don't think it's about like being a superwoman or the guys' needs are more important than the women. Like I think it's about equality, like true equality. Like if we're talking about changing equality in the world between male and female, so women being paid less for doing the same job, right? Or guys like choosing that they want to stay at home, they want to be stay-at-home dads. Like that's pretty big over here in Australia. Guys are choosing to stay at home because they prefer to be at home, so they're now taking on like a mothering role as opposed to being a hunter and a gatherer, which is physiologically and biologically what they're wired for. And I think that definitely with all of these gender switches, that there are definitely issues in relationships with ourselves because we're going against biologically and physiologically what we were built for, emotionally and mentally and physically. And then also too, it's going to cause problems in relationships. But if you've got an equality whereby, like in our house, for instance, Sean does the housework and I do the housework. We don't have a like this is a female job and this is a
Right.
male job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. And I think also too, like, women can vilify women too for choosing to be homemakers. I mean, that's a massive problem out there too, you know, where women who choose to stay at home, have children, raise the children, don't want to go out and be in the workforce and break glass ceilings and stuff like that. They can also be polarized because they choose that. So we've got this, I think we've got a lot of pressure too, you know, a lot of pressure to perform and be, like you said, like Superwoman. Like, you know, I'm not Superwoman, and I don't want to be Superwoman. You know, I want to be supported in my relationship too.
It's kind of you're damned if you are and damned if you're not, though. If you're a woman. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Mm. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. And I think talking about hunting and gathering, right, and losing jobs and things like that, you know, with coronavirus, like it's a massive thing that's happening over here at the moment. They're talking about mental health, and it's Men's Mental Health Week over here at the moment. And, you know, because traditionally guys don't go and ask for help because, you know, they don't want to talk, they don't want to share their feelings. That's very biological, physiologically wired as well. And because they're supposed to be the hunter and gatherer, so they're not supposed to be seen as weak as in asking for support. And I think that we're going to see a lot more of that, because if men have lost their jobs, just as women have, but they are wired to be hunters and gatherers, how does that make a man feel? Like, Patrick, like how would you feel like if something like that happened to you and you couldn't provide for your family? Mm. Yep. We're running at about 10%, but it's kind of like a false reading because the government's got a subsidy over here for people called JobKeeper, which they're paying for people up until September. And that's for people like who have lost their jobs, and for businesses to rehire these people. So, like, for instance, for me, for my business, I pay out the wages to my staff and then I get reimbursed for the wages from the government. So the government's basically supporting, the wages. So that will happen until September, but I think we'll see a sharp rise in that because there will be businesses that even if wages are supported, they cannot open again because trade is so bad.
Well, that's definite. Like over here, I don't know if you saw, Patrick, in the paper. We have a chain, and it's kind of like a healthier chain. It's called Sweet Tomato. They are closing over 240 locations forever. They're shutting down. That's it. They've lost the war with this, and they have to shut down. It was a really wonderful place that serves salads and healthier types of foods and soup. They're done. Exactly. But this is going to happen through the whole process, Patrick, because we're going to have a total change here with different types of jobs that are going to be emerging because of the pandemic. A lot of home-based business, a lot of internet-based business are going to be vitalized and be more productive out there, whereas more going out. You know, maybe the malls, it could be the arrow, you know, right through the heart for the malls now, you know, going to malls and things like that. I don't know. But it's going to be a big change right now with all types of work for men and for women. And I think now is a perfect time for equality right now. because we're going to need both men and women to be able to get out there and do what they need to do to take care of the family, whoever it is, and whoever has the job that's going to be able to transition through this pandemic is the one who needs to get out there and do it. And the spouse or the partner needs to agree and take up the slack and do what they got to do at home so that this can be a successful relationship and be able to take care of the bills in the family.
One of the things that's happening over here in Australia around that, though, is that 55% of the jobs that have been lost have been they're female-oriented work. And they're also saying that majority of that work will not be available again when the economy in the country gets back up on its feet and it's running. So that those jobs which are female orientated are actually going to be lost forever.
Did they give any examples, Fern?
Sorry?
Did they give you any examples?
Yeah, like, like women, for instance, who are in beauty salons or in hairdressing salons, who like the majority of women over here that are wait staff are female over male, etc. So in those sort of like cafes and restaurant industries. So what they're saying is that those businesses are going to shrink so much that there's going to be a majority of those jobs that will never, ever come back online again. And so therefore we're going to have a bigger number of women out of the workforce simply because those positions are female driven and female orientated and females fill them. So we're actually going to have a bigger gender gap and equality just coming out of these circumstances for coronaviruses based on that's a woman's job, that's a woman's role, that's the majority of that workforce is female in that area. So, when you're talking about it's a perfect time and a perfect opportunity, it is. But I think the reality of it is that we need to open up roles and jobs where both men and women can step up into those industries. One of the things they do in Australia here all the time to kickstart an economy, right, is to throw money at building roads and bridges and construction. So houses and all that sort of stuff, which is a male-dominated industry. And that's what they're talking about again now too. So again, we're going to have a bigger gap because that's seen to be the quick fix it. That's how we get the economy going. That's what we've done previously, which is a male-dominated industry. Therefore, women will fall below again and more behind because they're not putting investment and money into female-orientated positions. Yeah. Huge. Mm-hmm. No, they're not. They're not going to be fine. I have a hairdressing salon. And I'm telling you right now, I do. And I had staff of 6 and I have a staff now of 1. I'm reopening my business next Thursday for 3 days a week. I'm in the heart of the tourism industry. So 80% of my business is based on tourists. Okay. And we've got, and it's in Queensland. So the borders are shut in between Queensland. So you cannot, you can't. Yeah. No, you won't. No. No. I would. They're saying in Australia we will not see international travel return to anywhere near what it looked like until 2023. Right, and 2023, they're talking about that we may be able to do a trans-Tasman bubble between New Zealand and Australia. So that's virtually what we call a domestic market. Domestic flights in Australia are canned. We may do flights like come July, which will be limited flights in between states. So they're trying to, at the moment, they're encouraging people to just, if you're going to go for a drive or a holiday, to do it within 150 Ks of like where you actually live.
Okay, hold on a minute, Berna. Can we ask you a question? Are you not having any flights from state to state?
No.
You have no flights at all. Everything is grounded?
Yeah, everything's pretty much grounded. So the only flights that they're like in Queensland, for instance, they're starting up the football season over here. And they're stipulating that all of the players have to have the vaccine, the flu shots, before they can play. Now, there are a couple of players that will not, they're refusing to have the vaccine shot. So those players that are in like other states, like, New South Wales or wherever they are being refused entry into Queensland to actually play in a game of football. But I guess these restrictions are what have kept our numbers where they are, right? But the effect on the economy and especially tourism, because it's so good. And we're an island. So like I said, they're saying that international flights won't get back to what it was previously till 2023.
Well, I can see that if you're not even having flights going from state to state. I mean, we never shut down our flights from state to state.
Yeah.
We have flights that are going state to state all along.
Yeah. So Virgin Australia, right, You can fly if you flew from Melbourne to Queensland, you would have to go into 2 weeks quarantine as soon as you landed into Queensland. I live in New South Wales, right? And my business is in Queensland. So I could drive. I normally drive across the border to go to my business. I have to have a pass and go through 3 checkpoints to drive from New South Wales to Queensland. And before that, they haven't opened the borders yet, but you have to have a reason. So it had to be essential travel to do that.
Wow. Patrick, that's very different, huh, Patrick? Wow.
Yeah, I think we're capitalists. It's all about getting back to work. Mm-hmm. And everybody wants to do it, but the reality of the situation is because we are so tourism oriented. Like, don't get me wrong, like where my business is a place called Surfers Paradise. So if you have a look at that, it's like the heart of the Gold Coast and it's fully tourism driven. Like when I say fully, I'm talking like 80% full tourism driven. So around about, I'd say probably 45% of our market would be domestic market. So, people that are traveling from either New Zealand or Sydney or whatever it is to come and spend their money and have holidays in Surfers Paradise. The rest of it is the international market. So where my business is located in the heart of Surfers Paradise, we have lost up to 80% of our trade. And because it's going to be these small incremental openings, I do not see my business getting back to where it was pre-COVID-19 for probably 12, 18 months, if it ever does.
Yeah. It is. That is really bad, Fern.
And that's just the reality of the situation. So, over here in Australia, we used to be known for manufacturing and that sort of stuff. So, they're trying to get businesses back up and running and back into manufacturing so that we can get the jobs going again. But again, getting back to equality is most of the manufacturing jobs. Getting back is most of the manufacturing jobs still male orientated. So we're still going to have this loss of, like I said, I used to have 6 staff, 5 of them were women. I've now got 1. Right. I may be able to get back and put another staff member on this. So that means that there's, 3 other women that I would normally have employed that, and because everybody's in a similar boat, that means that, you've got a supply demand ratio that's out of whack. So there's definitely going to be a lot more women that are out of work, I feel, in Australia.
Well, let me get to the stat of the day. All right. I got a stat of the day for you in regards to our gender inequality. All right, I want this is a 2018 survey from the Women, Peace, and Security Index from around the world. Tell me, what is the worst country to be living in if you're a woman? All right. If you're a woman, the worst. Okay, that's a lot of countries, Patrick. Pick one. Jesus, you want the whole Middle East? Christ!
Yeah, look at him.
Yes, you are. You're almost getting a triple play. What are you saying there, Bern?
Kuwait.
Bern, what do you say?
I'm going to say Ethiopia.
Holy Christ. All right.
All
right, I hear you, John. All right, it's a tie. It's a tie. So the two countries that are the worst place in the world to live in if you're a woman is Afghanistan and Syria. Afghanistan and Syria. Okay, so let's turn it around. What is the number one country, the best country, if you're a woman to live in? And this is all about equality and living it lovely as a woman.
Sweden.
Best life. All right, Bernie says Sweden. What do you got, Patrick? England. The number one country is Iceland.
Do they tell you why? What are the reasons for these things?
Well, probably because they don't know who a woman is or not, because they got those parkas on all goddamn year. I don't know. I don't know. But that is the number one country. Or where do you think the United States is on this map, the number on the list?
What is it out of one of what?
Oh, Christ, there's over 175 countries. So
okay.
All right, Bern.
I reckon you're 110.
Wow. What faith you have in us, don't you? We're number 22.
22.
22. We're in the top 25%.
Is Australia even on there?
No.
Did we make it?
You're not on there. Oh, I didn't look up Australia.
We didn't. Oh my God, we didn't even make it. There you go. That's equality for you.
They are, but I didn't put it on there.
Oh my God.
Yes, of course they are. Of course. I remember seeing them on there. I remember seeing them in the top 30. So yeah. Bernie, I promise I'll find out exactly what number you are.
Yeah, do that. We'd like to know where we sit on these things.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's quite true, to tell you the truth, because I think that I guess in Australia we're like a bit of a melting pot. I mean, we started with, our Indigenous people, 30, 40,000 years ago. Then we got, the convicts, we all come from convict stock over here pretty much. Those hardened criminals who were like 14 and got sent to Australia, for God's sake, on a bloody ship because they stole a piece of bread, poor bastards. So, and we built our country up from there, and talking about equality, there were a lot of convict women who came over here and were kind of like virtually slaves, and then, got with men because men were in power, etc. And then they ended up in positions of power and become governors' wives and all of those sorts of things. So I guess our whole culture is built on that. And I think a lot of women over here, because we're very much regional, like, we've got a lot of land and a small amount of people, a lot of women work beside their men. Like my mum, we had a farm all of our life. My mum worked as hard as my dad, side by side, out ploughing paddocks and, rounding up cattle and, getting out of bed at 4 a.m. to do cotton picking and all of that kind of stuff. So I think in Australia, we've got this very much regional part of Australia where you've got women and men working side by side as equals on the land. And then we've also got this other quite, I guess, eclectic side where we've got, guys and women like climbing the corporate ladder and, in high rises and all that sort of stuff. So we're quite a contrasting land. So yeah, come on over.
Come on over. I'm coming. I am.
But you're not going to be able to do it to 2023 by the sound of it.
I'm getting on a rowboat. I'm getting on a goddamn rowboat. All right. Go ahead, Patrick. And then we're going to get to the email. Go ahead, Patrick. I'll give you a curve.
Look at him go. No, you give it to the best person. I think that's all bullshit. Like, I can't stand the whole quote. I
don't give a shit who it is.
No, the whole quota thing. I think it's bullshit. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We don't. But good question, Patrick. Good question. All right, let's get to the email, Bernie. And I got a great one from Michelle. She's from Nassau County, which is in New York. It's on Long Island, Bernadette, okay? It's in New York. And her question is, Nassau County Coliseum, right? I don't even know if it's still up or what. I haven't been there in ages. All right, have you ever had someone grab your ass in public? And if so, what did you do? Bernie?
No, I haven't ever really had anybody do that. And I think, what would I do? I think it would depend on the circumstances, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I never really had that problem with guys because, for me, it was like I don't know, maybe I got off these vibes. I used to go out to nightclubs and dance on my own, and guys would come up and want to dance with me, and they do the whole body language thing and get close to him, whatever it is. I just turn around and go, dance away or whatever it is. So I never really had to say anything to anybody.
Right.
So
I'm sorry,
what would I do if someone grabbed me in the ass? So if it was disrespectful, I'd turn around and say, what the fuck do you think you're doing?
Okay. Patrick, have you ever had someone grab your ass in public? All right, what'd you do? Oh, a mistaken ass. How do you like that? Well, Lord. Well, Patrick, this is Patrick Hyland, and he is the host of the Sports Zone, which you can listen to on Sunday mornings between 11 and 12 a.m. on AM 860, The Answer. So take a listen to Patrick and listen to his Sports Zone. And if you have any questions, please give him an email and shoot it out to phyland@netzero.com. Patrick, I can't thank you enough for coming on today. It's been such a pleasure. You're such a good friend. I loved having you on, and thank you for your honesty, and you're such a great man. I love you.
Thanks, Patrick. It's been an absolute pleasure. And 2023. Whack that on your calendar, love.
Whack it. All right, Bernie, listen. It's friggin' the end of the damn show. We got to spin the goddamn wheel.
Oh, spin it, love. Spin. It's your turn, right?
You hear it? It's my turn. All right, so
I can't see it.
All right, so we got P politics. I know exactly what I want to talk about. I know exactly what we're going to talk about.
Okay, then. Well, I'll get right on that. No doubt there'll be a lot happening in politics in your country, my country, and around the world.
I got a good one for us to talk about, so be ready, everybody. We got to go.
You've already got it ready to go.
Oh, I'm ready. I got it, baby. And I can't thank you enough, my beautiful co-host. Thank you so much for sharing our gender equality. I had a great guest. It was a great show. Love you. You take care of yourself. Be safe, baby.
Love. Ciao.
Ciao.
Welcome to R.S.V.P. Listen to the show at your own risk. We will be discussing all taboo subjects like religion, sex, violence, and even politics. You should be ready for controversy, disagreements, face-offs, and maybe some downright rumbles. Well, sit tight and get ready for this week's episode. And by the way, if you're squeamish about obscenities, don't listen to our fucking show!